Good evening. Welcome to this October 23rd, 2023 meeting of the LBVB Village Board of Trustees. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Cole?
Here.
Trustee Fisher?
Here.
Trustee Freed?
Here.
Trustee Hatch is absent. Trustee Rappin?
Here.
And Trustee Reiner is absent.
Thank you. Please stand and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next on our agenda, first on our agenda are awards and proclamation. And first is a proclamation designating the month of October 2023 as Dysautonomia Awareness Month. Whereas dysautonomia is a group of medical conditions that result in a malfunction of the autonomic nervous system, which is responsible for automatic bodily functions such as respiration, heart rate, blood pressure, digestion, temperature control, and more. And whereas dysautonomia impacts over 70 million people around the world and includes conditions such as diabetic autonomic neuropathy, vasovagal syncope, pure autonomic failure, and postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. And whereas dysautonomia impacts people of any age, gender, race, or background, including many individuals living in Bluff. And whereas dysautonomia can be very disabling, and this disability can result in social isolation, stress in the families of those impacted, and financial hardship. And whereas some forms of dysautonomia can result in death, causing tremendous pain and suffering for those impacted and their loved ones. And whereas increased awareness about dysautonomia will help patients get diagnosed and treated earlier, save lives, and foster support for individuals and family coping with dysautonomia in our community. And whereas Dysautonomia International, a 501c3 non-profit organization that advocates on behalf of patients living with dysautonomia, encourages community to celebrate Dysautonomia Awareness Month each October around the world. And whereas we seek to recognize the contributions of medical professionals, patients, and family members who are working to educate our citizenry about dysautonomia in Bluff. And now, therefore, I, Régis Charlot, Village President of the Village of Bluff, Illinois, do hereby proclaim the month of October as Dysautonomia Awareness Month in the Village of Bluff. Thank you. Next is also a proclamation designating October 23rd to October 31st, 2023 as Red Ribbon Week. Whereas the most precious resources we have, our future leaders, are the children in our community. And whereas children face decisions about using alcohol, tobacco, marijuana, and other drugs as early as their elementary school years. And whereas alcohol and drug abuse in this nation have reached epidemic stages. And whereas it is critical that the adults in children's lives take the time to talk to them regularly about the risk of alcohol and other drugs, symbolized by the red ribbons in our community. And whereas parents, teachers, and community leaders play an important role in providing positive activities which will give youth the opportunity to choose healthy lifestyles. And whereas the Village of Lake Bluff, LEAD, Croya, Speak Up Coalition, and our local schools are taking an active role in building assets in our youth and helping to teach them about positive decision making. Now therefore, I, Régis Charlot, Village President of the Village of Lake Bluff, Illinois, do hereby proclaim October 23rd through October 31st, 2023 as Red Ribbon Week in the Village of Lake Bluff and urge all citizens to do what they can to help our youth make a commitment to a drug-free lifestyle. Thank you. And to this, I would also say that we have a pumpkin chase on this Saturday morning, 8 a.m. So for an active lifestyle, it's only 5K or 1 mile if you walk, and it's awesome, and it will benefit our school PTA. Next is item 4, that is a consideration of the minutes of the October 9th, 2023 regular village board meeting. Is there a motion to approve the village board minutes?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Are there any changes or any comments? Thank you. Clerk, please call the roll. It's a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. The motion carries. Next would be the non-agenda items and visitors. The village president and board of trustees allocate 15 minutes during this item for those individuals who would like the opportunity to address the village board of trustees on any matter not listed on the agenda. Each person addressing the village board of trustees is asked to limit their comments to a maximum of 5 minutes. I do not see anybody in the room willing to address the board. Do we have anybody online? Yes, sir. Thank you. And I say we move forward. Next item is the village board sets the order of the meeting. The village president and board of trustees will entertain requests from anyone present on the order of business to be conducted during the village board meeting.
Take the consent first.
We definitely do that. So the consent first, without objection. Any other matter? So I say we move on to the consent agenda. The consent agenda is item 11, acceptance of a correspondence. Please note that all correspondence was delivered to the village board of trustees in the informational report on October 6 and 13, 2023. Item 12, that is a second reading of an ordinance amending a special use permit for Lawrence Property LLC on 101 to 113 East Scranton Avenue. And last, item 13, a second reading of an ordinance amending the Lake Bluff Municipal Code regarding the food and beverage tax. Is there a request to remove any of these items from the consent agenda? Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve. Second.
Thank you. Are there any items of discussion? So hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Cole?
Aye.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee Freed?
Aye.
Trustee Hatch?
Aye.
Trustee Rapp? Aye.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Next on our agenda is item 7, that will be our village finance report. And the first item will be the warrants report for October 10 to October 23rd, 2023, and September 2023 payroll expenditures. Is there a motion to approve this report?
So moved. Second.
Thank you, guys. So that would be as a summary of background and reason for request. That would be for expenditure of village funds for payment of invoices in the amount of $212,436.58 for October 10th to October 23rd, 2023, and for expenditure of village funds for payment of payroll in the amount of $290,481.72 for September 2023, for a total expenditures of $502,918.30. Are there any comments to our village administrator and our finance director?
No comments.
No comments? And that would be a roll call. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee Freed?
Aye.
Trustee Hatch?
Aye.
Trustee Rappin?
Aye.
Trustee Cole?
Aye.
Next item is our September 2023 finance report. Is there a motion to approve this report?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Would you mind taking this over?
Sure.
Thank you.
So some noteworthy items found in the September of 23 financial report. The monthly sales tax revenue on a cash basis for September was $337,064, which is about $4,412 greater than the cash basis receipts for the same period of the prior year. General fund revenues of $6,876,264 are $421,835 less than the fiscal year-to-date receipts for the prior year. And fiscal year 24 expenditures are consistent with or less than budgeted for the total general fund. The fiscal year-to-date expenditures of $4,353,701 are $166,429 less than the expenditures for the same period in fiscal year 23.
Thank you. Are there any comments?
Can you just remind us why the general fund, and what major capital items brought the general fund down by $600,000?
Off the top of my head, I have.
Oh, okay.
I don't know it off the top of my head, other than we did have some payments for
Road repair.
for road repair
Okay.
that came from general funds.
Yeah, and did we front money on the bridge as well?
We would have done a down payment on the bridge.
On the bridge, yeah.
Bettina, I was wondering if you could maybe weigh in on a little insight into why it looks like, in the monthly comparison, why this year is lower in sales tax than prior years.
I think it's just a reporting issue as far as when sales tax are reported, because the month of October is soaring to 360,000, which is going to be a considerable spike. So if I look at those two and even them out, it looks like there's just some sort of reporting. Yeah.
And that happens from time to time when the Department of Revenue, sometimes they, for whatever reason, have a slow month and don't report it on time, or in a period that it reported that. You see that? Yeah.
Or the retailers maybe
Yeah.
relate.
I think generally speaking, sales tax is still performing at extremely high levels. And spoiler alert, I think you said, yeah, it's leaping up again. So very fortunate in that regard to have alternative diversity of revenue streams to help support village activities. So not completely reliant on property tax.
I do not see anyone comments. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion carries. Thank you very much.
Sorry, what's that? It's the acceptance of, we did the warrant, that was, roll call, it's just the acceptance of the report.
Next would be our village administrator's report.
The only thing I would send out to the community is information about Green Bay Road reconstruction, and the bridge reconstruction project is coming. It's still a few years away, 3 to be more specific, but we've sent out notices to hold an open house at the Public Safety Building on Thursday, November 2nd, from 5 to 7 p.m. This is the second open house we've held on this project. The first time through, residents commented on the plans, and all the feedback from that was incorporated into the current set of plans, which basically is to resemble what's out there today. That was the general goal, is let's keep it like a neighborhood road. Let's not make, build it wider and really wide sidewalks and put in a lot of lighting. We wanted to maintain that neighborhood feel. So, but based off comments that were received several years ago in that first round of public comment, they did add 2 crossings to get east-west people from the West Terrace over to Malden or the schools and so forth. So that was something that was asked for, and found a way to do that. And as you might imagine, we're going to try to save every tree that we can, but we're going to lose a few as part of this. But the good news is that it's also going to include some improving the stormwater situation. Green Bay Road, oddly enough, is where the stormwater falls to the east or west for the village, but ironically floods. And so I'm going to cure that, or not cure that. Jeff hates when I use that word, improve it. So anyway, but that's Thursday, November 2nd. We've had a couple residents already reach out to us, curious about that. But yeah, so if you can attend, we're seeing the plans. They are on our website. If you want to take a peek, sneak peek, but
Hey, Drew, can you remind us for majority of residents in Lake Bluff, the big impact is going to be the Green Bay Road's going to be closed for a period of time?
The bridge is gonna be taken out.
Yeah.
And so and it's essentially, it's a 2-year construction project.
Mm.
And so the goal is to try to get that bridge back in quickly, so that's not completely cutting off transportation loop. But there's, in the plan set is the approved detour route that goes through Lake Forest, as you might imagine. But there's certain folks that won't be able to get away from that, from their daily lives, so.
Yeah.
That's going to put a strain on our village, passing by the police department.
Yeah, for
Sheriff's
service,
Road.
right, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. And just, I mean, like, to that point, I mean, just like we do with other planned instances, whether, we know of construction, or there's storm events, whatever, we pre-plan that, work with our neighbors to provide services, so shouldn't be an interruption at all.
Thank you.
Did we forget item 7C, or was that my imagination?
Nope.
Nope. I mean, you came back, so you were on it, yeah.
This is the acceptance of the audit, yes.
We did that.
We did not. We did 7A and 7B.
Yeah. So instead of going to Mr. Ferdinand, we will go back to item 7C.
I have no report tonight.
Spoiler.
Thank you. And thank you, Drew, for
Yeah.
the report. Item 7C would be the consideration of the fiscal year 2023 annual comprehensive financial report. Bettina, please. And sorry about that again.
So the annual comprehensive financial report provides a complete picture of the village's financial health. It's comprised of basic financial statements with footnotes, a transmittal letter, a management discussion analysis, and detailed fund level statements with budget comparisons and statistical information for the past 10 years. The village received an unmodified opinion from its auditors, Sikich LLP, that the financial statements are fairly presented in conformity with generally accepted accounting principles. This represents the highest opinion an organization can receive. At their October 9th meeting, the Finance Committee reviewed the draft of the annual comprehensive financial report with Martha Trotter, partner of Sikich, and voted unanimously to recommend the village board acceptance of the fiscal year 23 annual comprehensive financial report. The 2023 report is available at the village's website. Printed bound copies are available at Village Hall, Public Safety Center, and the library.
Thank you. I did not ask for a motion for this item. Could I please have a motion?
Motion to accept.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Before any comments, I would like to say again, this is a humongous honor and a humongous achievement to get this type of result for our village. So thank you very much to you and your staff.
Thank you.
This is big. And this is every year, this is awesome. Are there any comments?
If I could just make one additional comment with regards to your question from earlier. There were also building improvements to the public safety building that, with regards to the roof and some of the exterior work, and that also took up about $320,000. Sure.
Are there any more questions?
I hesitate to ask a question right now, because I think we spent a great deal of time reviewing this and in the Finance Committee meeting. I just wanted to circle back to some of the questions that Trustee Ryder had raised about the police pension and the health of our plan for it. And frankly, I can't recall if there was something that we were going to circle back to. But yeah.
So we are at the next Finance Committee meeting. We actually will present some assumptions based on varying degrees of rates of return that we had discussed at that meeting, and kind of show the projections of what that would look like insofar as our percentage and also our contributions.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you for following up on that, because I thought it was a very important point for,
It was, yeah.
for the health of our community simply not. Thank you. If there are no more questions, this is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. The motion carries again. Thank you. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. Next would be my report, and at this point I would mention the pumpkin chase, but I've already done that. So again, that will be Saturday at 8 a.m. And this is a great event for our community, and it keeps us healthy, so this is great. Thank you. Next is item 14, a resolution estimating the amount of the annual aggregate 2023 property tax levy. Is there a motion to approve this ordinance, this resolution?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Annually, the village is statutorily required to estimate the funds to be raised from taxes on real property in the village prior to the adoption of a levy. This is an estimate and does not limit the board's ability to levy a different amount provided it is in compliance with the truth in taxation law and all applicable notice and hearing provisions. The Finance Committee at their October 6 meeting reviewed the 2023 levy projections and unanimously recommended approval of an aggregate property tax levy of $5,043,168. The village share of a property tax levy of $3,904,587 or $185,933 more than the 2022 property tax extension. The library board's anticipated levy request is of $1,138,581, represent a $54,217 increase from the 2022 levy. The total village extension amount, including the library, is $5,043,168, which is $240,150, or 5% greater than the 2022 year 2022 levy. This estimated levy is in compliance with the amount allowed under the Property Tax and Limitation Acts. The first reading of the 2023 tax levy ordinance and the public hearing will be held on Monday, November 27th. Are there any questions on the board?
You do have for admission.
Thank you. Are there any questions?
No.
And so, this is a roll call. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Freed,
Aye.
Trustee Hatch,
Aye.
Trustee Rappin,
Aye.
Trustee Cole,
Aye.
and Trustee Fisher.
Aye.
Thank you. And our second resolution tonight is item 15, a resolution authorizing the waiver of competitive bids for the purchase of 2 replacement police vehicles. Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. The village fiscal year 2023 to 2024 budget provides funding for the replacement of 2 police vehicles pursuant to the vehicle and equipment replacement schedule. This year, the state of Illinois did not secure a contract with the dealership to facilitate the purchase of a Ford Interceptor Utility Explorer police package vehicles. Given the current shortage in the police vehicle market, staff recommends the village place an order with Morrow Brothers Ford for 2 2023 Ford Explorer police vehicles at a cost of $83,580, with the hopes that they will be delivered by the end of the 2023 or early in the 2024 calendar year. The upfitting and marking of the patrol vehicles, estimated at $29,621.90, results in a total cost to purchase these vehicles at $113,201.90. While vehicle and equipment replacement funds while the cost exceeds the current budget amount by $4,201.90, sufficient funds are available in the vehicle equipment replacement fund to cover the overage. Staff also recommends not declaring the 2 vehicles identified for replacement in the police fleet as surplus until such a time that new vehicles are secured over the next 24 months. Finally, even though multiple proposals were solicited and received for replacement vehicles, it is necessary to waive the village's competitive bidding requirements to authorize the purchase. So my first question to you would be, your timeline is 24 months to secure those vehicles.
So we just don't know. There's a lot of unknowns in the market right now. And so we're trying to kind of hedge as best as we can. We're being told that these vehicles can go into potential queue for build, although right now we know there's the UAW strikes going on. Today another plant for another manufacturer on strike today. And so what we're trying to do is build these vehicles out to our specs that we normally do and hopefully secure them. What may be starting to happen in the near future is allocation amounts. So there may be less. So like Lake Bluff only gets 1 or 2 squads a year. So we're hearing this like words of the grapevine that there might be, hey, you may only be able to get 1 here or 1 there. We're just not really sure how this new environment is going to be with purchasing squad cars. It's not what it used to be, right? State would just have a bid, we'd go out, we could take the state bid, and we're good to go. So what we see here is that Morrow Brothers, who we've done business with before, who's used to have a state bid, and put out that price, and we'll hopefully be able to re-secure that, at least for this coming year, as best as we know.
So we might get 2 cars, like we want. We might get 1 car, we might get no cars.
Right.
Yeah, there's been orders canceled altogether.
And so a couple follow-up questions. One, if we didn't put a bid in, what impact would that have on the department's ability to do its job?
So what's like happened in before, going back to November last year, we actually had a squad car that was damaged in a crash, right? So we drove into it. Memory serves me, I think it was 3 to 6 months maybe, I think that we were waiting for parts. And so that's the other aspect of this is parts, right? So an ability to get things. So we're hoping to get these cars in, keep a few extra cars until hopefully this market sort of corrects.
Yeah.
And that hopefully that, on the other side of that, this sort of normalizes again, and we can hopefully, go back to the regular, what was a normal process.
Yeah. The original plan was to order an unmarked, like, detective vehicle and a patrol car, because we don't know what's gonna happen the next, we know we would rather have patrol cars ready, so we're ordering 2 patrol cars, and so hopefully we get them, and then we can work out.
Then that's not as
important.
specific, not as important. And I noticed, okay, so I'm happy to hear, Chief, that we've worked with Morrow Brothers in the past. I noticed also that their quote happens to be the lowest of the quotes that you've looked into. I heard you say we hope that they'll be able to honor that quote. What factors go into that?
That's the whole, if yours will be accepted, I think, with the strikes going on.
Got it.
If they're still, so they kind of pre-built out a few, and they kind of like change some of the aspects of those cars that they've sort of pre-bid out for, or pre-built, right? And so the hope is that we can be still in queue for 1 or 2 of those vehicles. But again, it's a daily changing thing, it seems like. So with the strike going on and everything else, we just don't know where. And I've heard stories of other villages, all of a sudden like 6 vehicles show up that they haven't had for like 4 years. Like, oh, we thought those were coming like years ago.
Right.
So you're hearing all these stories of these trying to get vehicles where you can, I guess.
And pretty much, would we have the same experience with any of these other dealers? Like, is there a chance we'd have it locked in if we went with a higher price, but maybe that price was worth it to know we're getting?
So the other higher priced ones at this point were ones that were on the lot, which means they're built out already. So some of those things that necessarily didn't have the way that we would normally set up a squad car, perhaps. I'm just trying to remember which one. It was like, hey, we have these available. Take it or leave it, right? But it may come to that at a point where dealerships may say, this is all we got, you're gonna have to pay a premium for it, right? As you can see, there's a cost differential, right? Then it may come to that point where you're just gonna have to just take what you can actually get. And hopefully we're not there yet, but it seems like it's starting to kind of edge that way.
Notwithstanding any crash that you could have with parts and so on, how long can you go without having to replace cars?
It all depends. It's like everything else, right? Some cars we've had great luck with. Other cars, we literally had, the one was like 40,000 miles. It never left the shop, it felt like. You know, so it's like everybody else, it's just like personal cars, right? Sometimes you have good ones, sometimes you have bad ones. Some are really bad sometimes and require replacement of engines and they still don't work right. So it's like anything else, right? There's just all depends.
Well, we wish you the best of luck to get those stars.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any more questions tonight? Chief, thank you.
Thank you.
So this is a roll call. The clerk, let's go by roll.
Trustee Bench.
Aye.
Trustee Patton.
Aye.
Trustee Cole.
Aye.
Trustee Fisher.
Aye.
Trustee Fruit.
Aye.
Thank you. Next is our trustees' report. Do anyone wish to make a report tonight? And I do not see a report. Thank you, guys. And followed by item 17, that is a consideration of the October 9th, 2023 executive session minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Are there any changes? So, thank you. Clerk, please, this is a voice vote, or it's a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. I understand that there is no executive session tonight, and so I would ask, could I please have a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. And it is 7:31.
That's a record.
All in favor, so.
Aye.
You just blew the record. It was 2 seconds.
Right.
I was at 7:31, it is now 7:32.
I think 7:21 is the record.